Hello and welcome. This is TVC News at 10. We'll begin in the nation's capital, where a federal high court has refused to grant suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari's codefendant bail. The court also granted the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency's application to review facts presented on the two defendants who have pleaded guilty in the ongoing trial in alleged cocaine deal. Justice Emeka Nwite, in a ruling, dismissed the objection raised by counsel to Mr. Kyari and his co-defendant that granting the request might jeopardize their own case. Judiciary correspondent Celestina Area reports.
Justice Emeka Nwite ruled on whether reviewing facts presented on the 6th and 7th defendant who pleaded guilty would jeopardize the case of the defendants. He agreed with the NDLEA and counsel to both defendants that Mr. Kyari and other police officers had not given sufficient evidence that their case would be prejudiced if the court grants the request. He held that the objection lacked merit and ordered the NDLEA to commence the review of facts on the 6th and 7th defendant. Justice Nwite aligned with the arguments that keeping the two guilty defendants in prison during the length of the trial would infringe on their right to fair hearing, going by Section 36, subsection 4 of the Constitution. Justice Nwite subsequently adjourned to 26th of May. Counsel to Mr. Kyari Gabi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, had objected to the prosecuting lawyer's request. He said should the court convict and impose a sentence on the defendant, it would jeopardize the case of Kyari and the other four defendants.
Further application for bail for the rest of the defendants, apart from the fifth and sixth and seventh defendants. So for the 26th of May, we should be coming back here for review of facts, as well as taking the bail application for the first, second, fourth, and fifth defendants.
At the last adjourned date, Justice Emeka Nwite had refused the bail application of Mr. Kyari and his co-accused, stating that the prosecution has placed sufficient evidence before the court that warranted the refusal of the bail application of the senior police officers. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
Let's talk politics now. Governor of Lagos, Babajide has informed presidential aspirant Rotimi Amaechi that the ambition of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the rallying point of the state. He said this while receiving the Minister of Transportation in Marina. Mr. Amaechi, a former governor of Rivers State, and Asiwaju Tinubu are presidential hopefuls on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who wished the minister well in his presidential ambition, noted that he is eminently qualified for the top job. He said he is a direct beneficiary of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu's leadership, and as such, the state will support him to become Nigeria's next president. As preparations continue ahead of party primaries and the general elections in 2023, aspirants contesting various political offices are currently trooping to the National Secretariat of the All Progressives Congress to obtain nomination forms. Despite the controversy over the amount set for the sale of forms, the party's secretariat is buzzing with activity. Correspondent Habib Alawal reports.
At the 11th National Executive Committee meeting of the All Progressives Congress Party, President Muhammadu Buhari had warned against imposition of candidates and money politics. And yet, the high amount set especially for nomination forms for the presidential race seemed to contradict his appeal. But this has not stopped the influx of aspirants for various political offices as the All Progressives Congress Party begins its sale of forms. The party's national secretariat has become a beehive of activities. This sale of forms was initially supposed to commence on the 23rd of April, but was later shifted to the 26th of April. An aspirant from Adamawa State, Abdulrazak Namdez, is here to pick his nomination form and expresses confidence in the process put in place by the party. He says the APC has what it takes to regain power in Adamawa State.
Adamawa is an APC state. I have said it time without number. The incumbent governor won an election through a rerun. And anybody who won an election through a rerun, it had already sweated out. And we had issues, we had small issues during our primaries that culminated to why we had issues. But today, we have learned our lessons and we are all on the same page. We are not going to fight ourselves. All the aspirants together, we know that we want to go to government house. And we will work together. Whoever emerges, at the end of the day, all of us are going to follow. I am hopeful that I am going to be the candidate that will emerge. And I can assure you, by the special grace of God, others will always support my aspiration.
Another aspirant from River State says consensus should not be an option and all aspirants should be given equal opportunity and the right to contest.
And the law for building a consensus is clear about the parties that are subject to that consensus. Up to this afternoon, you know the processes. Go and check from the party secretary, those who have paid and those who have not paid. I think that will give you a clear indication as to a group of friends, well-wishers that start together and say that they have endorsed someone. No endorsement. They can endorse people, but no consensus, has been reached.
The party will consider which mode the primaries will take, while aspirants continue to troop in to collect nomination.
In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says the party has its own internal mechanism of selecting a candidate and will not concede that mandate to any group or individual seeking to influence the process. This was disclosed by the national chairman of the PDP, Iyochia Ayu, when former Vice President and presidential aspirant Atiku Abubakar addressed members of the National Working Committee at the party's headquarters in Abuja. TVC News senior correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
First of all, it is the most experienced National Working Committee we have ever elected.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar making a case before the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party on why he's the best among the rest aspirants seeking to clinch the presidential ticket of the party. Atiku Abubakar says he's the most qualified and the only one who has been tested on a presidential ballot and also has what it takes to snatch power from the ruling All Progressives Congress.
I dare say, Mr. Chairman, I am the best candidate under normal circumstances. This is a guy who has already 11 million votes in his kitty. And I think as a party, you should give me the right of first refusal.
We have been speaking to people, and they tell us, if you do not bring Atiku, you can kiss the success bye-bye. So, Mr. Chairman, I present to you your friend and your servant, Atiku Abubakar, for the presidency of Nigeria.
The NWC listened attentively to Atiku and his presidential campaign team, but they also know that they must be seen to be fair to all sides and provide a level playing field for a democratic contest. The national chairman of the PDP also rubbished desperate attempts by some groups seeking to produce a consensus presidential candidate for the party.
Let me take this time to explain to Nigerians that the party has its own internal mechanisms of selecting a candidate, whether by consensus or by election. We do it transparently. Those who love our party more than us should please tarry a little. They should not select candidates for the People's Democratic Party. Our internal processes will go ahead, and we are going ahead with it. At the end of the day, we'll come out with a candidate chosen by the members of the People's Democratic Party themselves. It is that candidate that will present to the rest of Nigeria for the forthcoming elections.
So far, there are 17 aspirants vying for the presidential ticket of Nigeria's main opposition party. But the People's Democratic Party will have to work to worm its way into the hearts of Nigerians as it hopes to secure majority votes that will end the administration of the ruling All Progressives Congress. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Away from politics, the industrial action embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has entered its third month, and organized labor has threatened to hold a 3-day strike and national protest if the government continues to ignore the demands of the workers. They're also warming up for a 1-day protest after the 21-day ultimatum to the government on ASU strike. TVC News correspondent Kyari reports.
Nigerian workers will on Sunday join their counterparts the world over to commemorate this year's International Day for Workers, popularly called May Day. For workers in Nigeria, the prevailing state of insecurity and economic uncertainties cannot erode the essence of the day.
All that we have gotten was not given to us by any government. All that we have gotten as workers around the world was gotten through collective struggle, through the deployment of workers' power.
As the countdown to this year's May Day celebration begins, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress hold this rally to sensitize the citizens. From the headquarters of the NLC, workers marched through the city center, arriving at the Federal Secretariat. The issues are multiple, from insecurity, worsening state of education, to rising inflation, and the labor leaders take the political leaders seriously to task. Labor decries the shutdown of public universities. It describes the IPPIS as a conduit pipe for corruption.
In between also this 21-day notice, there will be a 1-day national protest to speak centrally on the issue of the centrality of education. After the expiration of the 21 days, if nothing happens, that there will be a 3-day national strike by all our structures across the length and breadth of this country.
The government must stand up to do everything possible to ease these pains, to do everything possible to ease these difficulties that is biting the Nigerian workers.
In a moment of reflection, workers appeal to those in position of authority to right the wrongs.
The crisis we're having is about mismanagement of resources, where the resources of the nation is in the hand of a very few powerful people.
I can say that government has failed us. This is just an opportunity for us to still let government know that we are here.
The two labor centers in Nigeria insist that rather than agonize, Nigerian workers will organize themselves and have a critical say in who mounts elective seats come the forthcoming general election. TVC News, Abuja.
Let's talk security matters. The armed bandits have abducted the village head of Rijana community in a Kachia local government area of Kaduna State. The monarch Ayuba Dakolo was abducted alongside other farmers at Kurume village near Chikwali, all in Kachia local council. It was gathered that the bandits reached out to community leaders in Rijana with a list of demands that must be met before the monarch is freed. Some of the items on the list include huge amounts of cash, bikes, kegs of petrol, engine oil, cigarettes, and tramadol. Rijana, a community along the busy Abuja-Kaduna highway, has been a soft target for terrorists who invade communities, block roads, and abduct commuters. The latest incident is coming less than 48 hours after the move by federal lawmakers to criminalize the payment of ransom to terrorists under any guise. The Joint Border Patrol Team, comprising the Nigeria Customs Service, Nigeria Police, and the DSS and the Army, has handed over 2 persons to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for further investigation and possible prosecution. According to a statement by EFCC's head of media and publicity, Wilson Owojaren, the suspects were arrested with $285,000 and 18,925,000 CFA along the Ilashe-Hambo axis of Ogun State. While handing over the suspects, the leader of the patrol team, one of the suspects was on his way to convey foreign currencies to his accomplice, who will in turn deliver the monies to Benin Republic when they were intercepted. The operatives also handed over the currencies recovered from the suspects to the Lagos command of the EFCC. In Imo State, the police command has confirmed an attack on a bullion van at Abombisi local government area. Police Public Relations Officer in the state, Michael Abba, stated that the bullion van was returning after delivering money and was attacked by hoodlums. He added that the bullion van was attacked by the gunmen who caught up with the vehicle with the intention to cart away the money it was conveying. The PPRO also disclosed that the driver of the van made several attempts to escape the attack, but the vehicle somersaulted in the process. No life was lost in the incident and no money was carted away from the bullion van, which he said was empty at the time of the attack. Now to Yobe State, where operatives of the State Police Command have shut down the Mami Market situated at Area Command in Damaturu over fear that terrorists may target the place with explosive devices. According to the command's public relations officer, Dungus Abdulkarim, the measure was taken to avert being caught unawares by the sect. Michael Oshoma has details.
Last week, Boko Haram fighters claimed responsibility for attacks on drinking joints in Gaidam and Geshua towns, leaving at least 6 persons dead in both attacks. This particular drinking spot, popularly known as Area Command, used to be crowded by alcohol seekers, but now it's completely deserted due to its closure by security operatives.
It's a proactive measure taken by the command because of the resurgence of bomb attacks in the state. So we are trying to ensure security of life and property, and this is just a temporary step toward ensuring that life and property has been protected within the vicinity of the police. And you know, today in insurgency areas, security operatives are the priority target of those terror groups.
Marketers who are counting their losses are appealing to relevant authorities and the government to do the needful to reopen their shops.
You see, this is a matter of investigation. And whenever you are investigating any scenario or incident, then you cannot just predict or you cannot just preempt a particular date or time for completion. But I assure you that very soon we will see ways on how to reopen that place.
Michael Oshoma, TVC News, Damaturu, Yobe State.
The fourth Thursday of April every year is marked as International Girls in ICT Day. The celebration is designed to raise awareness on the need to promote technology career opportunities for girls and women in the world's fastest growing sector. TVC News correspondent Tichesu Adeoye reports.
The information and communications technology sector is the world's fastest growing economy. However, the United Nations International Telecommunication Union estimates a skill shortfall of over 2 million jobs in this important sector within the next 5 years. It is against this backdrop that the International Girls in ICT Day is celebrated annually to develop a safe space for girls to demonstrate how to create and build technology. This event in Abuja gathers together young women and girls who are making their mark in the ICT sector and inspiring others to do same.
Women and girls have been underrepresented in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and maths. Now, this is not because of a lack of ability by women and girls, but it's due to so many different factors that range from lack of access, lack of education, stereotypes that celebrates men in technology and engineering.
Access to ICT for women can enable young kids a stronger voice in their communities, their government, and the global level. So ICT offers women flexibility in time and space, and can be particularly valuable to women when faced with social isolation.
Girls and young women who learn coding, app development and computer science will be well placed for a successful career in the ICT sector. ICT skills are rapidly becoming a strong advantage for students in just about any other field they might choose to pursue.
I work with 13 African countries, and in those 13 African countries, we have young women and girls who are either living with or affected by HIV. But also among that pool, we see